Welcome into the Grip Locked preview for the biggest disc golf tournament of the year, possibly the biggest disc golf tournament that has ever happened. The World Championships going down in Finland, 2025 PDGA Worlds, the first time it's happened in Europe, and all signs point to it being the biggest tournament we've ever seen. I'm hearing rumors of 10,000 people on the ground. I don't know if that'll end up being true.
Sold out.
I've seen the grandstands and stuff they've built in, the player bridge to get from the 18th green over to the media pool. On the Nokia course, they have a VIP restaurant on the 18th green.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's built in with it's a built-in tent with like a carpet floor, and that's going to be a restaurant that if you're a VIP, you can sit in there and I say in AC.
So
it's Europe.
sick.
They don't have AC, so probably not in AC, but you can sit in there and watch people finish out on 18.
That is incredible. Love it.
It's insane. It's insane. I have major FOMO sitting over here watching it go down, but yeah, we are very, very excited for the World Championships. 5 round of the best disc golf you'll ever see. Kicks off tomorrow. Tee times are going to be a little iffy if you're a U.S. watcher, because obviously FPO is going to be teeing off about middle of the night.
Yeah.
MPO will be teeing off first thing in the morning.
I guess it's even worse if you're West Coast. Like we're fortunate we're even on the East
Well,
Coast.
the only thing that's fortunate for West Coast is our like FPO teeing off at like
right. Can they
2 a.m.?
watch
They might be able to
FPO?
stay up till like midnight and watch a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
But their MPO is going to go off at like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
versus us,
that's
it's like
tough.
9 a.m.
That's
Because for
tough.
us, I wake up, FPO's done, and I have like an hour or two until MPO goes off.
It's not bad.
And it's like,
not
you
bad.
know, I don't mind watching disc golf first thing in the
It's
morning.
kind of okay being like, you're done watching it by lunch. You got the rest of your day. Like,
Exactly.
It's not a bad schedule.
It's not a bad schedule, but it is pretty tough if you're on the West
Yeah.
Coast.
And also for FPO.
And also FPO, yeah.
Just can't watch it.
Most of the viewers over here aren't going to watch it. So.
If the final round is close, like if the final round is very tight, then like, because like how to catch the end of it, you would just have to get up.
You
like,
get to get up like 4:30.
Yeah. So that
Because I was waking up at 5 and they
doable.
were on hole. This is based on the Estonian time, which
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're the same time zone. I could be wrong there. But Estonian for the European Disc Golf Festival, I would wake up at 5 to like go for a run, and they would be on like hole 15,
Oh,
14, 16, somewhere in that
Okay.
range. So like I could have watched
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 holes.
so that's doable.
So if you got up at 4:30, you could watch the final stretch.
yeah, I can tweet about with all the other Americans that are totally awake and watching.
That's what I'm saying is if it's like 4:30 our time, it's only 1:30 California time.
Yeah, they just stayed up.
So then it's like you can just stay up and watch
Yeah,
all of FPO.
That'd be the play. We have to fly to California.
We have to fly to
We gotta
California,
get acclimated.
watch FPO, fly back to the East Coast to watch MPO.
We'll just take the
We'll have
private
to figure
jet.
that out. But very exciting. These are the same courses that we saw at the European Open last year. So they're playing the Monster and the Beast, Nokia and Tampere. I believe that's how you say it.
I said, yeah, Tampere. I said ironically the other day that like courses need to like there's so many beasts they need to make one called the Monster, and I forgot that this was called. They did it. They did.
I
that
will
exact
say
thing.
this course is the Beast.
Yes.
There's a lot of other ones
Well,
that
it's about 1,000 feet longer than the Beast.
Well, I'm saying the Beast in Nokia. That's the only course that is the Beast.
Yeah.
Like you have Waco, they
No,
call
I agree.
Brazos East is the Beast.
It's the OG.
This is
Yeah.
if someone says they played the Beast, this is the one that comes to my mind.
Should, yes.
So this one I'm okay with being called the Beast.
Yeah, fair
the
enough.
other ones, change your name.
Yeah. Change your name. You heard it here first.
So not a ton of changes going on over here, at least not that like are going to drastically change from what I've seen. I could be wrong, but because even hole 16, you have the change of the bunker rule to OB, but instead of rethrowing from where you previously were, you can advance up to the edge. This is at Nokia. You can advance up to the edge of the OB. So even that, I think, will probably be a pretty negligible change because you have the stroke penalty,
Right.
but you move forward. So even though that is like a pretty intense change on paper, I think if anything, it honestly might make that hole less blow upable.
Yeah.
But I think for all intents and purposes, players who have done good at the Beast and at the Monster historically, and by historically I mean I think they played it once last year, will probably do good again here. There's no reason that it's like, oh, this is changed up so much that because Ganon won last year, all of a sudden I don't think he's going to win this year type thing. If a player did good last year, the only thing that changes is the title going into this year. So let's look at it. Title-wise does change a lot because first off, we got to take a look at Isaac Robinson. He has a chance at history this weekend. If he wins in Finland, he'll become the 3rd player ever to win 3 consecutive MPO world titles. Joining the other 2 would be Ken Climo and Paul McBeth.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to do
Crazy.
something to put your name among Ken Climo and Paul McBeth, you have a chance to do, basically the only other people who've done it are the GOATs. So if he's able to do it, he'll be 3 in a row, join those two. He said in his press conference yesterday that his practice rounds have felt absolutely terrible leading into this weekend. He came 4th last year at the European Open, but that he did lose by 8 to Ganon across those. Do you still love his chances here? I know you were kind of saying he's timing this thing up right. Do his practice rounds feeling terrible make you like him less, make you like him more? Where are you at now?
Yeah, I don't really put much stock in that. I mean, I guess it can't necessarily be a good thing, but I think he's just like, he's a competitor. Like when the lights are on, he's obviously very good in these majors. I think the crazy thing when you talk about Climo and McBeth and that stat, you ought to also remember that the last time that this was done, the last time that a streak ended was 2016. And then Rick went back-to-back 16-17, and then he wasn't able to complete a three-peat. And this is nearly a decade ago.
Yeah.
So, like, the sport has gotten so much stronger. We probably didn't even imagine. Like, we look at a player like Ganon now, and we think maybe that's a guy who could rattle off 3 of one, even any event. Name an event, like winning it 3 times in a row is very hard to do. So the idea that Isaac could put himself on that list, it feels like really rare company, and to do it in this day and age would be insane. I still like him at this tournament. There's no reason not to like him at these courses, and I do think he's going to find his game. I'd be surprised if he's not competitive at Worlds. I mean, it's just kind of, you do have to ask yourself the question though, like, does the pressure build up? You've won back-to-back, and it's just like, now you're Mr. World title. Like, at this point, people are staring at you, but he's clearly amazing under pressure. So
that's what I was going to say is, the pressure will be mounted this weekend. Yeah. All eyes will be on Isaac. But he's been kind of dubbed Mr. Major for a little bit, and he keeps showing up at majors. So he's playing with the all eyes are on me coming into this weekend, and he keeps showing up. I mean, he even put himself into contention at the European Disc Golf Festival. He somehow won Champions Cup at courses that really shouldn't have been his.
Yeah.
And those are all with the eyes of, oh, this guy shows up at majors, and he's still able to show up. So I'm not too worried about that. And I do think like he looked very good at the European Disc Golf Festival. 4th place here last year, losing by 8 to Ganon. I don't take much weight in that because, 4th place is very impressive. 8 strokes, yeah, but that's 2 around. It could go either way. Anything could happen out there. I do think that if he gets hot, it's a similar thing of like him at his best is very, very hard to beat. And historically, over the last few years, he has been at his best at most majors.
Yeah.
So I think that I do really like him here, and I'm going to be straight with you. I almost like him more that he said he feels bad in practice rounds.
Yeah.
That almost, because
he's timing it
when
up.
he was saying it, he almost had this little smirk to him that I didn't believe him. Where I think he's almost trying to calm himself down saying, and I could be completely wrong here, but it felt like he was almost trying to calm himself down of like, I feel terrible in practice rounds, and it's like, if you watched him, you'd probably be like, this guy's about to win Worlds, and he's just like, I feel so off.
Maybe.
Because what it also is doing is he said, like, it's making him go out, and he's doing more field work and stuff right now. Like, he seems like he's at the same point we saw him last year, pre-Worlds, where, like, everyone around him, again, I'd be very curious to hear what his friend group is saying, because it feels like kind of last year, I think he probably would have said a similar thing of, like, my game kind of feels a little off or whatever, and then his friend group's like, I've never seen Isaac so dialed, he's going to win.
Well, Isaac's the most critical of himself when he's at his best. I think that's when you are going into a tournament with the belief that you can win it, you're expecting perfection during practice. And so, having an errant shot here and there, it really is going to add up more, I think, on your psyche. And like I said, I think he, when he's at his most dialed, we've seen him at his best. The disc goes exactly where he wants it. So when he is the most dialed in, I think he's going to be super critical of his own game. And if he's missing his lines by margins that maybe aren't even going to take him out of bounds, he's still probably going to be frustrated with that. So yeah, I don't place a lot of stock in that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. Now, all eyes are turning to Ganon Buhr because he took down the European Open last year. He has been, over the past few seasons, the most dominant player. He had one of the best seasons, if not the best season of all time last year, to the point that in my live Q&A this morning, people are asking me, like, hey, if Ganon continues his career trajectory, is he the GOAT? That's where he's at right now. And my response was, he's got to have a world title, mainly because of how much weight is put on it in this sport. And he has never finished inside the top 5 at Worlds. I think that is the one blind spot on his resume. Yes, he's never won a Champions Cup, which how new that major is. People aren't putting a lot of weight in that. People are putting a lot of weight into Worlds. And so is he. He said in his press conference, like, I just want to give myself a chance. I feel like I've never even had a chance to win Worlds. And he means by that is like down the stretch, he's never been in the mix.
Yeah.
So he's like, I just want to this weekend. My goal is get myself in the mix. That's his goal.
Right.
Do you think there's anything to the storyline or anything that's kept him out of the top 5 at Worlds? Or do you think that's just pure coincidence? You have 5 rounds, the best player in the world. It's inevitable at some point.
Yeah, I do think it's inevitable at some point because I don't think he's the kind of player that'll just crack under pressure over and over again. And last year, obviously we had Worlds here in Lynchburg. I watched a good bit of Ganon, and it was just couldn't get the ball rolling, and he was always within firing distance. Even going into the last day, it was like, okay, I probably need to shoot a crazy hot round to get back into this tournament. But he was never able to put together an entire day, and he got a lot of bad breaks last year. I think that's one thing. Like the Ivy Hill course was handing out gnarly breaks on certain holes, and I think that really gets in his head. I think that's why. It's impressive he's been able to win a couple U.S. championships because that's something you have to defeat. I like him more at these courses, and I do think there's certainly some pressure there. Like he's expected. Last year he was in the midst of an insane season, to where, I think probably going to Worlds even we were basically handing him the tournament. And this year it hasn't been quite the same, but it's still a similar situation where he's the best in the world. He's been the most consistent, and it's still a lot of people will pick him as the favorite. So I do think it is inevitable at some point, and I would be really surprised if this year he doesn't give himself that chance because you're hearing it like he's desperate to have a fighting chance to win this tournament, and it would mean the world to him. So he's going to be very motivated and very focused.
I think I almost like where he's at coming into this Worlds a little more than last year, mainly because what we've seen over the past few weekends is he's put himself into positions to win at Krokle, at the European Disc Golf Festival, where if he just executes a few things that he thinks I should do all the time, he probably wins both of those tournaments.
Right.
Instead, he's on the outside looking in. And I think that is really annoying him. Just from the posts he's made and stuff, I think that's really getting under his skin. Because even if you go back to PCS, it's a similar thing where if he just, in Europe right now, if he just executes 5 shots, he wins 3 times. Yet he has 0 wins.
Yeah.
So I think that's really getting under his skin. And so when that times up with Worlds here, and you have kind of this perfect storm where he's coming into the tournament, I think a little frustrated with himself of how do I not have a win over here yet? And he's a little frustrated with himself of I've never given myself a chance here.
Yeah.
With the player Ganon I think he's going to respond well to that pressure, and I think he's going to come out hot. And that's what Ganon needs to do. If Ganon comes out hot, everyone look out. Because at the end of the day, it's similar that we've talked about Paul McBeth before. We've talked about Kristen before. We've talked about a number of players like this. When you're the best in the world and there's more rounds than any other tournament, statistically, your chances of winning just go up. The guy is the most consistent player on tour, and this is the most rounds in one tournament they're going to play. And he won at these courses for a major last year. The chances are he's going to win.
Yeah.
It's just, will the title of Worlds be enough to hold him back? But if he's able to get out and get going, not have any weird breaks that make him quit on himself mentally, and he's able to really lock in, I think he's the most likely to win this tournament. And I do think it's inevitable. I would be very surprised if Ganon Buhr goes through his career and doesn't win a world title. Hot take, I guess, but I just don't see that happening.
Hey, Ricky, Ricky hadn't won a major for 8 years, though.
That is true. I think a slump can happen.
These things do happen.
But I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. But I really like him this weekend. I think there's a lot of guys with a good chance, but I do think that Ganon Buhr is the one with the best chance. So, now, speaking of slumps and slumps that are over, Calvin Heimburg finally has the major win monkey off of his back after the European Disc Golf Festival. He finished outside the top 20 last year at this course of the European Open. But with him playing nearly stress-free, coming off the biggest moment in his career, do you think that's going to make him more likely to be in contention, or will the emotional high and then the inevitable emotional crash that comes after that last weekend lead to a lackluster performance out here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that had to be quite a big relief, and that's something that he's been chasing for a lot of time, and I'm sure one of his huge focuses in his career, his main focus. So when you lose that chasing the first one, it might be kind of a weird thing to adjust to. because so many people like just strive to win a major, Now, Calvin is the type of player that you would imagine to have multiple majors stacked up on his resume when it's all said and done, but like he's got the major, he got the big one off of his back. So it's hard to think like, okay, are you going to be able to dial in that level of focus and drive to try and just win another major, a world championship, or does it fall a little flat maybe because now you've accomplished such a big thing you've been chasing for so long? I personally think Calvin's just kind of a pretty consistent player in general. He's pretty level-headed. I kind of expect normal Calvin. Now, am I going to think differently about him if he does find himself in contention to win? Yeah, I will, because I think that at that point it'll help, because then it'll be like, okay, well, at the very least, I've got the major. Like, this would just be doubling up, would just be even sweeter. But beyond that, I just kind of expect his normal game, which is like, yeah, if Calvin's in contention, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I think that I fully agree that down the stretch, there's going to be a lot less pressure on Calvin.
So much less.
So I think that if he finds himself in contention,
especially when he just won his major like 2 weeks ago.
If he finds himself in contention in round 4 or 5, he almost becomes the favorite in my eyes. Yeah. Because he's going to be playing under stress, like under a lack of stress that pretty much no player around him is going to have.
So many, like you think about the top players, like think about Ganon, for example. You're going into this Europe trip thinking, I'm going to win one of these 2 majors. Like there's 2 majors back to back. And like, so to be the guy that has one, and now you've got the AB and the Ganon, and maybe the Rick, who are like really Nicholas Antela, they're eyeballing these. Like, we need to get majors. We've got to get one of the 2. And they're all going to be in a spot where there's only one left now.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that coin, I do think going into the week, it could cause a little bit of a lapse of focus, just because it's so close together that there's been a week off, sure, but like to be thrown right back into the major thing after you just won, like all the relief that came with that, I feel like I would personally have a hard time compartmentalizing that and getting back into, I need to focus on this major ahead of me. Because I would almost be playing like carefree, not in a negative sense, but like in a negative performance sense, because it'd be like, I'm gonna be straight with you. I don't really care what happens right now. I just want a major.
It is a weird one. Like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody else in the field is going to be so hungry because, like, for them, this is still their best opportunity to win a major that's right in front of them. But yeah, with Calvin having just accomplished it, you're right. It's like you have a bad first round, maybe, and you're like, well, it's all right. Like,
what are people going to say? Like, I just won a major.
Like, so it is a very different minds, but maybe playing looser, like there's a lot. It might just help.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an interesting one to watch. A player who will for sure not be playing loose out there is Ricky Wysocki. He continues to search for that next major. I actually saw a stat on the Disc Golf Pro Tour site that said a win here would mark the longest gap between 2 MPO Worlds wins by over 4 years. Last year, he came up just 2 strokes shy of Ganon at the European Open. He's on an 8-year major drought. What percentage chance do you give Ricky at taking down his next Worlds this weekend?
I'll be honest, it's pretty low. I would say, I mean, if I'm thinking Ganon's got 20 and Isaac's got 10 and AB's maybe got 5, like by the time you get down the list, I'd say 5 to 10%, probably closer to like 7% is where I'd give Rick, because like, yeah, he's still a great player, but there are just too many dudes right now, and he's not playing his best game. That's the thing. Like, if Rick were playing his best game, then it would just be kind of the world's too much. But this year, it's a little bit of a different story, where he hasn't been at his very best. He's still been fine, and he's getting in contention, but not being able to win outside of a major doesn't really encourage me that a first win is going to come at the highest pressured event that he'll play all season. So, yeah, I don't think chances are amazing for him. We just haven't seen that extra gear out of him where he goes out and just flattens the field, and is able to go wire to wire. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think what holds me back from belief in Ricky going into this is just the clutch putting. He's hit big putts. His putter statistically has been fine, but there has been moments where it's like, if Ricky makes this putt, he has a chance at winning. Yeah. He hasn't necessarily had the make this putt I win, miss this putt I lose putt, but he's had the I need to make this putt to stay alive on 18 a few times. Cascade Challenge is one. The Ale Open, I believe it was another one. And over and over and over, he's missed them.
Yeah, this back against the wall, I feel like old Ricky kind of charges and stays around, and like yeah, he kind of he falls out of the race quicker than you'd expect this year.
So that's where I think I'm in the same spot of a little under 10%. I like 7%. I'll go 5% just to be different.
He'll go 5.
But I definitely think he has a chance because historically at the Beast, he's very solid.
He's very solid.
He played completely fine at the Monster as well. I mean, he lost by 2 to Ganon out here last year, also at a major, so he was also trying to break the streak, so a lot of the same pressure was on him, and he was right in there. My worry is a lot's changed from last year to this year, and I just haven't seen when he's in contention, when his back's against the wall. At normal Pro Tour events, I haven't seen him do what Ricky does. So why am I to believe he's all of a sudden going to do it at Worlds? Could it happen? Absolutely. I give him a lot better chance than a lot of other players, but there's just so many players that like there's a strong list of 5 or 6 guys that I would put confidently ahead of Ricky at winning this one. And when you're looking at those players, and a lot of them are hot right now, it's hard to imagine Ricky hoisting the trophy. He definitely could, and I won't be shocked. But we do have 8 years of history to say crazy. It's probably not going to happen.
Like, to have a guy who has been at any point, he has never really been outside the top 5 players in the world in the last 8 years, and to think that you're going to play around 30 plus majors, and he's not going to win a single one of them is crazy.
It is insane.
Because you cannot name, of the guys that have been the invincibles in that 8-year period. I mean, you look at guys like Dickerson was one of those guys for a few years. He got his major. You had, obviously, Paul. He was still winning majors. Ganon has cleaned up his majors. Calvin was the only other one, and he just got his. So it's like there's only so many more dominoes to fall.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an interesting one. And speaking of Paul, he used to be the number 1 guy you thought of when you thought of Worlds. He had an over decade-long streak of finishing either first or second. That ended in 2023.
Yeah.
We now have back-to-back finishes outside the top 10 at Worlds. When you think of Worlds, do you still think of, I have to be considering Paul, or is that narrative gone for you?
I wouldn't write him off, but I think what's funny is, the reason that Paul was so dominant at Worlds there in certain years was because you just gave the guy too much time. He was going to chase you down if he had to. Whereas what's funny is now when I think about Paul and what he's been able to do, it's like I like him better in a 3-round tournament. Like, I think 5 rounds plays to his disadvantage because his biggest struggle is stringing together long tournaments where his biggest issue is, like, there are a lot of tournaments you can win this year by going hot and then just, like, your bad round, just you manage to get that 3 or 4 birdies at the end of the stretch to where, like, you still put up a respectable number and you stay in the fight. And we've seen him at multiple tournaments. Champions Cup's a great example. Just have the hot round.
Yeah.
But then, like, your bad round can't be awful. And his bad rounds have been bad in comparison to the field and what it takes to win. And so to go 5 rounds, like, you can't have an awful one to win Worlds. Like, you can have ones that are slower, but they cannot be like a 2-over, right?
Correct.
It's like if the field is pacing 10 to 12 under and you rattle off a 6 or a 7, you'll live. Maybe put up a hot 15 or whatever. But if you rattle off a 2-over, you're done. You're gone. Yeah. So, like, that's what he can't do to stay in this tournament. And, he's a competitor and he wants Worlds and he likes these courses, great history. Well, at least at the Beast, he has a great history. So, like, I'm sure he can get in the fight. It's just like, is he going to be in the fight after 2 rounds, 3 rounds? Is he going to still be in the fight after 4 rounds? If he's still in the fight after 4 rounds, if he can make it to the final day, lead card, like, within 3 shots, then it's like, okay, maybe he's going to figure it out. But it's still, like, we've seen him in striking distance final round of shorter tournaments, and he feels like the first guy to fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he is, and I think, we just saw a similar thing last weekend, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one because I think there's almost 2 ways to look at it. 5 rounds either plays to Paul's advantage if he's able to not have that bad round be a blow-up because, like, he can stay in contention and he's likely to have a hot round here and there. So it's like if other players also have 1 round they struggle and there's more chances for that to happen, that could play to his advantage. But if what happens at Champions Cup and if what happens where, like we've seen, where his bad round doesn't get to be respectable, then yeah, you're out of it.
And because, like, Ganon Buhr, just like Ganon Buhr is not like he's not going to implode. Correct. Like, that's the thing is, like, the Ganon Buhr bad rounds, like, they're slow, but he doesn't implode, and like that's why Ganon Buhr is never outside of, like, the top 5. Because
and what I will say about Paul is, I do think I'm not buying into the Worlds narrative anymore. Because 2 years, especially with one of them being Worlds, basically courses he designed for him to win Worlds on, essentially, and he finished outside the top 10. I'm not ready to buy into that. I am still buying into the European Open. And so since the European Open and Worlds collides here, one thing I know for certain is Paul still has aura in Europe, right?
He does have aura.
When he rolls in, he still is close with Wysocki. You know, there's a reason Paul's one of the guys that got the Ford from the Ford partnership.
It's a good vibe for him.
That's what I'm saying.
No doubt about it.
He is still he's still walking into there the big dog. And a lot of obviously Ganon is the one to beat, but it's not like Paul walking into some tournaments probably feels weird to him here because it probably like it used to be you knew where Paul's card was because he had the biggest gallery by a lot.
Right.
And all of a sudden now you got Simon pulling a gallery, you got Ganon pulling a gallery, you got the lead card gallery, and you got Paul's gallery. In Europe, I think Paul still has that pull. So I think there is something to he's going to be feeling great. Right, going into this tournament.
Yeah.
How much will that matter? I don't know. So I won't be shocked if he's in contention, and I do think if he's able to get in contention down the stretch, it feels like a beautiful story of like, of course, Paul won Worlds in Europe. Like, of course, like that feels like something where if you ask me at the beginning of the season, hey, Paul's going to end up winning Worlds in Europe, I'd be like, yeah, duh.
Well, we're getting to that range too.
Like, of course. So I honestly will be more surprised if Ricky Wysocki wins Worlds than if Paul McBeth wins Worlds, even though I think Ricky's having a better season.
Yeah, I don't know that I would disagree with that, to be honest.
I think it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like Paul winning Worlds, the first Worlds in Europe at the European Open course, it just makes sense to me.
You can sell yourself on it.
Yeah. I'm not going to put him in my top 3, but I won't be surprised.
Yeah, it would be. And then, like, Paul's getting to that point in his career. Like, he's obviously gotten older. Didn't he just turn is he like 35 now?
I think he's 35. I think he made the post of like he's 35 and he's retiring at 40 basically.
Yeah. No, did he say that? Well, I mean, that makes sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's getting towards the twilight of his career where like winning a major now is like a big stamp to say like I could do it at all stages of career.
Especially to get to 7-time Worlds.
Right, and he would break the record, right? Or he'd tie Climo. Did he tie or break?
Climo's at 12. He would break the majors.
That's
break the major.
So like that would be a big deal. But like because like when he won his last Worlds in 2022, you know, he was in a different spot still, and it still felt like it was it was a big deal. But like he had probably should have won in 2021 without the holy shot. So like he was still that guy. Things have changed the last few years to where like winning now would be a really big postage stamp to be like, even after he kind of fell out of his prime a little bit, he was able to stay around and win another world championship. It'd be a big deal.
I guess the question would be if Paul wins this
those
weekend,
discs would be moving like hotcakes.
Do they rename the Melita? Because the Melita only has 6 characters.
No, I'll just make another one.
Paul's named all of his discs based on how many. You can tell how many worlds he has by how many characters. Like the Zeus,
he wants the
4.
Poseidon.
Luna, 4.
He wants the Poseidon.
Poseidon's what, 7?
That's the 7.
That seems like 8 somehow in my head.
Poseiden.
I think there's an E
Poseidon.
in
there. No, it can't be.
It's got to be an E. I think he wants. I think.
Does he need 8 for Poseidon?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He's got to go back to back.
He's got to go back to back.
He wants the Poseidon.
1,
I've heard him say
2, 3,
it before.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah,
so,
he
wow,
wants the 8.
Tough. That's what he wanted back in the day when he started.
It's doable. It's doable. I mean, he's got 5 years left in his career.
Time.
2 out of 5. It's time's ticking. But yeah, I'm not bought into the Paul Worlds narrative. I am bought into the Paul European Open narrative, and this is the European Open essentially. So
if he gets another PM for Worlds, they should make it one of those cool like overmold things they've been doing.
Oh, that would be sick.
With like a 7X like in the rim.
Oh, hey,
intellectual property. You can't have that.
We just have to have first drop. First drop rights to us, Discraft. You can use it after that.
You can't have that.
That would be crazy.
That would be sick.
The final MPO storyline I think we got to look at is I'm stealing this one from the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour actually put out a like World's How to Watch preview, and in it they brought up this point for over 4 decades.
SEO champs over there.
The MPO Pro World title has remained exclusively an American achievement. Tides are shifting this year with 45 countries represented, several top European contenders making their mark in the Elite Series. The possibility of crowning the first European MPO title champion feels closer than ever. So do you think, I think Niklas Antila is the biggest
they mention him, but do you know about this Timo Hartmann guy?
I don't know much about him, no.
He is fascinating. So German player, doesn't really ever play Pro Tour, but he's 10-39 rated.
Okay.
He's very high rated, and I believe he took like a 30th at Konopiste this year, but other than that, just does not pop up much. But I remember his name because somebody who's familiar with the European scene told me about him years ago, like saying he was going to be the next big thing.
Interesting.
And he's an interesting guy to take a look at just because, like I said, very high-rated player, and he just doesn't pop over much. Now, I don't expect him to necessarily win the world title, but like just a fascinating one to look at. But yeah, Antila is obviously the guy when you're
Yeah. So what do you think of Niklas Antela's chances?
Yeah, you see, he obviously got handed to him at that event.
But he came in second at the European
but that's the thing. He's a good player that usually
he was
isn't
16,
in the field.
16 behind Niklas.
He's usually not in the field.
Niklas
he's a good player.
And, you know, the Nordic phenom, if you will. This is going to be a somewhat home event for Niklas.
Yeah. No, he is head and shoulders, like, he's the guy, and obviously a multiple-time proven winner. And, I think would not be shocked at all. He's cooled off a little bit this year, but I wouldn't be shocked at all to see him in contention.
I think it would be electric to see him in contention, mainly because the crowd would just lose their mind.
Correct. Yeah, I would love to see Niklas being on lead card at least because, the gallery would be insane.
I'm already expecting something we've never seen before in disc golf. If Niklas is in contention, it would be
somebody aces.
It'd be crazy.
I should say when, because somebody's going to ace this. I mean, they're already acing it in practice. It's only 350 feet, but the whole 18 at the Monster, if somebody aces that with those grandstands there, it's going to go ballistic.
Yeah, I'll be on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
That'd
be a great,
that'd be perfect. That's what we need to go on SportsCenter.
We need that look.
Do we rig it? Do we just send people out there, throw it till you get it? SportsCenter won't know the difference.
Can you imagine if we started running fake world championships to create the most, you could argue the holy shot was basically that. Whereas, such a ridiculous thing that's did disc golf just fake this to get on SportsCenter? But
that needs to be the conspiracy. Yeah, was the holy shot?
Shout out Yuli. He already aced this hole in practice. It's pretty sick. A lot of people I've seen got really close now. A lot of people
also shout out to Silver Lot for doing what all of us would do and hitting first available. I don't know if you saw that
I
clip.
didn't see that.
He grip locked his forehand into the tree on the left, and everyone in the comments was like, "One of us, one of us."
If you haven't seen this hole yet, then you're not on Instagram because everybody's posted it. I would do the same. Most players probably won't run an ace. They're going to play to land on that lower tier, but they got big old grandstands. It's going to be sick.
I will say we're looking at, if you're watching us, we're looking at the hole 18 T sign here. Have you seen what they're doing for T signs this year at Worlds?
No.
Just a QR code.
That's dumb.
So you walk up and players would scan it to pull up their QR code.
That's dumb.
I don't know why they decided to do that.
I think that's
I saw it online.
I think that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I saw it online, and it's just by the tee box, it's just a
you got to make players whip out their phones to get the.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, by the time you've practiced it, you understand.
Yeah, you know what's going on.
And also, to be fair, most of the time they're using anything, it's to get to the caddy book. But I just think it looks nice. Maybe they figured it didn't look nice enough.
It might have been a situation where they couldn't get it to look nice enough. It's like a QR code, it's out of the way.
But what is it? What's the QR code on?
Just like a little sign.
Is it a yard sign?
Yes, I do believe.
So we're already doing the yard sign.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just saw it on Facebook.
Because I would agree if they were let's avoid doing the yard post signs because those don't look the best and we can't afford to do anything that looks nicer. Okay, maybe then there's something there. But if we're just
I haven't heard the explanation. I just
slap a QR code.
You saw it online. So let's jump over to FPO.
That's just a head scratcher.
FPO, we have Kristen Lott. Now it is funny. The Pro Tour article, actually, I was reading it and I started to be like, yeah, she has her chance to go 3-time. No, she doesn't. Evelina won last year. Because it's funny because they put a chance at her third consecutive world title, reigning 2-time world champion, and the next point is Evelina Salinen's title defense.
They did it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So that one was funny. But anyways, what's not funny is her recent putting performance.
Not funny at all.
She missed a lot of putts, especially down the stretch, at a major just 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
She still threw well enough to get herself in a position that lost her the tournament, meaning the tournament was hers if she doesn't do it. What are you thinking going into this weekend? Is it something where you think she can shake it off, or are you saying she's going to be in contention because it's Kristen, but the putting, you can't just shake that this quick?
I think she will be in contention, but no, I don't think she's going to shake it. I think if anybody has their A- game, she will not win this tournament. If any of the Evelinas, Hollands, Silvas, if they have their A- or better game, they will beat Kristen at this tournament. I really do believe that. I don't think she's in the right headspace right now. And it's 5 rounds, a lot of putts. There may be times where it looks good, but there's probably be times where it looks bad.
I agree. I think that
putting things are
it's
hard to
a very unfortunate timing for Kristen because I think
it's the worst.
I think that by the end of the year she might be able to get out of it.
Yeah.
But
it's the most important part of the season.
2 weeks, I just don't think it's enough time for her to go from missing 3 putting from 10 feet to all of a sudden being dialed again.
And you only get better at that in tournament play.
Yeah.
So it's broken.
And she goes straight from Worlds to the World Games, I believe. So there's not even
that's
she's
probably
not even
where
have a big
back.
break.
That would
maybe. And she could turn it around and still be vying for Player of the Year, but She's going to have to win this in Evelina Saarinen fashion. If she does win it, she's going to have to throw the disc so drastically better than the rest of the field that she can afford to miss 20 circle one putts.
I just don't see that happening.
And I agree. I think there's too many contenders in FPO now, and she feels too human to them for that to matter.
Putting is just a part of her recipe for success. Because if you're playing the consistent, weighted out game, that involves making your putts.
Now, we are also talking about Evelina Saarinen. Mm-hmm. She did win Worlds last year. She's coming in to what has historically been a little bit more of a thrower's course. What do you think of her chances at going back-to-back here?
Definitely solid. A little bit disappointing at the festival. I think she was like outside the top 10 or 15.
I don't know if she's outside the top 10, but I think she's definitely outside the top 5. I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive. What did she have? 8th?
8th.
Yeah, so not super impressed by that. I expected her to be more in contention at that tournament. I still haven't quite figured her out, but obviously the talent's there. 5 rounds, like she's going to gain so many strokes, tee to green on everybody. So yeah, I like her. I think she's one of the favorites. I don't think for me there's just not a clear favorite in FPO. I think it's really blurry.
Yeah,
but I think she'll be great.
Yeah, I definitely think Evelina has a very solid shot at this. I think that it is a course where her throwing can outshine her putt. Because I think that this is where Evelina shines, right? Is when she is able to give herself so many more looks than the rest of the field that she can afford to miss half of them.
Yeah.
And I think both of these courses, I think, could line up for that. It's more just a question of will Silva or Holland have something to say about it? Because I think Kristen's going to be in the same boat. And Kristen and Evelina is just going to be who wins that game of like.
Yeah.
And I think I like Evelina a little bit more as a potential to win in that game. She's been playing it longer. But I do think there's so many players that if Evelina wins, she is going to have an on-putting week for her, which is probably close to that 70%, 67, 70, somewhere in that range. If she's able to do that, I do think she has a very good shot at going back-to-back here. I don't think that the crowd's going to get to her. I don't think that the moment's going to get too big for her. It's just the moment could get too big for her putt. And so that is the thing is like if her putt is a 20-footer for the win, I don't love her for it.
No,
if her putt is she has a 20-footer and she can 3-putt to win, I love her for that.
She has to have a lead going down the stretch. That is the one thing you got to remember about Evelina.
Now, a player who I feel the opposite about when it comes to the putting green is Silva Saarinen. Obviously, she has a little bit of a less complete game than some of the other players, but she does make up for it a lot of times on the putting green. We have now seen her win multiple times in multiple places, including a major stage. What do you think for Silva? Do you feel similar about her as we do Calvin? She just got the monkey off her back. She did it way earlier in her career.
Yeah.
What's it going to do for her?
Yeah, I think it's different than Calvin. I think she's just kind of continually finding her confidence and just really figured out the win lately. She knows now that she can beat everybody in the field, do it on a consistent basis. I very high hopes for her at this tournament. Got to have the putter working for sure and figure out how to get around these courses. I mean, the monster can be a bit longer, but I don't really think that matters a ton, to be honest, as long as she keeps it in play. So, yeah, I think Silva has a much better chance of going back-to-back than Calvin.
I think, in my opinion, coming into this week, I honestly think Silva's my favorite. When I originally was looking at this tournament, I, in my head, was like, oh, Silva probably didn't play that well there last year because I was thinking these courses are pretty demanding. And then I looked, and she lost by 1 last year, and she played very solid. She shot 6 under. She beat Missy by 3. She beat Evelina by 6, and she lost to Kristen by 1 at a major last year. A lot has transpired since then. She is a way more confident player now. She is a way more proven player now. I don't think the moment's going to get to her, and she's proven she can play these courses well.
And she had momentum last year, too. She was coming off – that was off the back of, like, all those Europe wins, I believe.
Yeah. So I really like her this year. I think this could definitely be the time where she goes back-to-back in majors, she takes down worlds, and all of a sudden she is the FPO Player of the Year currently. I really think that could be the storyline we're looking at. One player that hopes that's not true, though, is Holland Hanley, who is still chasing her first PDGA major. She hasn't been on top long enough for it to be a Calvin or Ricky type narrative, but it is something that she's looking for, right? And what a better time to do it than at the World Championship. What do you think of Holland and her chances here?
Yeah, Holland's always a threat because I think she just kind of out-athletes the field a lot of times. Like, she can do a lot of things on the course, throws it far, but she gets inconsistent. That's what ultimately gets her a lot. But this year, she's reined it in enough to where her bad rounds aren't costing her much. I mean, she's been first, second, or third. She's been on the podium most of the year. So I don't know how confident I feel in her winning her first major right here, but I do think she'll be, sitting somewhere in that top 5.
Yeah, I think my only worry for Holland is she has seen, even this year when she's winning consistently, she can still get pretty nervy down the stretch, and finishing at the Beast, it's pretty demanding down the stretch. So I think that if she's in a place where she needs to gain a few strokes on the last few holes, or she needs to protect a 1-stroke lead, I could see her losing that. I like Silva a lot more than her at this event, but I will not be surprised to see her in contention, and obviously I won't be surprised to see her win. She is the most consistent FPO player this year. She's proven herself to be a winner now. It's just we do have the major stage, and the major stage gets bumped up a little bit with Worlds. In FPO right now, it is a little bit of a crapshoot because we aren't even talking about Missy Gannon on this podcast. Paige Pierce, who knows if this is the one she sneakily gets hot again. I mean, she had that random stretch earlier in the year where she was popping off. Kristen, she's one putting stroke away from being right back. Cadence Burge could pop off. There's so many players that have a legitimate chance of, if they play their best, they could do this. Mm-hmm. And Holland's definitely one of them. And I think that Holland is among Holland, Evelina, Silva are the 3 I think have the best shot at this thing. Yeah. But I like Silva and Evelina a little more than her, is kind of where I'm at. So let's jump over into our pick'em. This is a very important pick'em. It's being thrown around possibly two times points. It's also being thrown around.
I think we need to agree to that.
Oh, I'm fine with agreeing to it, mainly because I'm pretty confident Tour Life's not going to submit picks, so they're going to be stuck with the picks they had last week. So let's actually look.
They just recorded.
I thought they weren't doing a Tour Life this weekend.
No, that's what Edwin Texas said. Tour Life recording tonight.
With Tour Life not filming this Tuesday.
Oh, not filming. I thought you said with them. Oh.
Please post your picks and pick them here.
Oh, there's no way they're going to get
That's what I'm saying. Because all Brody said is I like Gannon a lot, and we didn't.
Text Edwin separately from the
Well,
chat.
no, they will have their picks from last week. That's what they did to us.
No, but I'm saying if we text ours in that chat, it will.
Oh, I'm not texting them in. Yeah, I'll text Edwin separate.
Yeah.
So their picks are going to be Isaac, Niklas, Ezra Aderhold, Holland, Evelina, Annika Steen.
Not the best picks, but their MPO,
not bad.
It could be great.
Yeah. So where are we looking? I guess first we have to question. Let's look at FPO actually first. I feel like Kristen's terrifying.
No.
So I think we want to go.
I think we literally hit him with the Silva Evelina again.
I think we need to. I'm on the same boat. It's just who do we go? We just took Ella Hansen. Do we like her again?
So she obviously was a good pick. You almost feel like you have to because.
Let me look at what she did.
Who else do you?
Let's look at European Open last year and see what she did. If she was, I don't even know if she was over there last year.
She probably was.
Ella Hansen came in 11th last year.
Not bad.
9 over.
Not bad.
Not great.
Paige
Pierce, dark horse, 4 over last year.
I don't hate Paige Pierce. I'm not gonna lie. Was she in that tier? Yeah. Let's take Paige.
Do we go Paige?
Yeah, let's get it.
Let's see what has Paige been doing recently.
Let's get her. Doesn't matter.
Part of me feels like she's been sneaky good, just not good enough to make storylines.
No.
She came in 12th at the European Disc Golf Festival, 9th at Crocol, 6th at PCS.
That's not terrible.
I mean, really, her
2
only
of those would have
blip
scored.
Recently was 48th at U.S. Women's, but before that, she was 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
She 12th at another one.
Yeah, she went 3rd, 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah.
Ignore U.S. Women's.
We're timing
6th, 9th,
this.
12th.
I
think we time it. I think we go Paige. Maybe Paige will win. That'd be dark horse.
I could see it happening.
Paige Pierce. So okay. MPO, we have a lot of questions to answer here. Ganon Buhr, if we take him, it knocks out our possibility of picking Isaac, AB, Ricky, Niklas, because we'd have to go Ganon, and then tier 3, we'd be looking at Kyle, Ezra Robinson, Simon.
So that's the problem is I feel like Ganon is the most likely to win. So there is that. The problem is in tier 2, in my opinion, there's probably a couple combinations of 2 guys that are almost guaranteed to be in the top 10. It's just a matter of how far up in the top 10.
Yeah.
And the other issue is then if you do take Ganon,
we don't have Isaac.
That tier 3, things get really sketchy down there.
Here's the deal: is they have Isaac. I feel like since they have Isaac, we have to take Isaac.
We did, yeah. Good
because
point.
We're not losing points to them on Ganon.
Yeah.
Unless they do picks in the next 12 hours.
So who do we take as our second?
That's the question. Is we could gain points if we risk the Ricky. If we go Isaac Ricky. We could also go Isaac AB. Ricky came in 2nd last year. AB, I don't think played good last year.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he came in 36th last year.
He's kind of heating up, though, right now. He played pretty well last week. I'm okay with either of them, to be honest. So whichever one you like.
I don't know what I like. I feel
Antela
like
also isn't a bad pick, but they have Antela.
They have Antela.
Yeah.
So if we want any chance of separation,
yeah.
Or we could just say, screw it, we're going Ganon, Ezra Robinson, and Sullivan Tipton.
Dude, I don't hate that.
Do we just do
Let's
that?
do that.
All right, yeah.
We
got to make up points.
I don't hate that.
I think we're going Ganon. Ezra came in top 10 last year.
Dude, Sully is such a lock right now.
Ezra came in 7th last year, and I love Sullivan Tipton.
Sully's such a lock right now for top 10. Like, he's so good.
All right, Ganon, Ezra Robinson, Sullivan Tipton.
And it just feels good to have Ganon because it's like,
I agree.
He's probably going to win.
He's going to be in the top 3.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
The only problem is Isaac. If Ganon doesn't win, Isaac or Nicholas is the next 2, and they have both of them.
No, I don't know.
But we're locked in.
I'll tell you who's next up in a second.
Hands off. We're locked in. I didn't update points.
Yeah, because I got a billion.
That's on my bad.
Yeah,
should I live update?
I scored a billion on you.
Should I live update?
You can, yeah. I guess you have it.
I still have the update right
so
here.
I was down 7.
This is your picks here. So let's look at the European Disc Golf Festival, shall we?
Yeah, we got to be updated going into the Worlds.
We have Calvin, Gannon, Isaac, and you went Gannon 1, so you get 1 point for that. Isaac 3, so you get 6 points for that, so you get 7 points for MPO. So Trevor.
But it doubles.
I did double.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because you would have got 4. So I guess you should get 8.
I should get 2 and 6.
2 and 6, 8.
Yeah, 8.
So you should be at 52.
Yeah.
I doubled one, didn't double the other. That's on me. I went Isaac, Gannon, Sullivan, Tipton. So I get the same. I get 8 as well.
Yeah.
Isaac, Gannon, Sullivan, Tipton. I get 8. Okay. So I'm at 59 now.
I was so close to getting 2 in the right spot.
And then you went Evelina Holland, Kristen, which earned you Evelina Holland, Kristen. You earned 2 points for Kristen being in second. You did not have her in the right spot. I went Evelina Silva, Cadence. So I also earned 2 points for having Cadence or for Silva and not in the right spot. So I also earned 2 there.
I got so cooked for not
61.
having.
And then dark horse, we got to look at Maury Villman versus Chris Dickerson. Maury, I think, actually came like top.
Definitely lost that.
Maury Villman came top 10. Yeah.
Where did Chris Dickerson finish?
33rd.
Bum.
So I get 4 points for that. So I actually pull farther.
I've lose so many points. I'm
at 65.
Well, I got
54.
cooked by Calvin because if Ganon wins, I would have had first and third in the right spot. It would have been perfect. I got cooked.
Okay. So now let's get into our predictions this week. I'll start with my MPO. I'm taking Ganon Buhr to take this thing down. I'm going Isaac Robinson second, and I'm taking Ricky Wysocki third place.
Mine is almost identical. The only difference is that is a loud jet plane.
Loud jet.
I have AB in third because I think AB could sneakily win this tournament.
So you're going Ganon, Isaac, Anthony Barella?
Yeah.
All right, what about your FPO?
FPO, I'm just kind of throwing it at the wall because this one is difficult. Now, I will say I am snubbing Holland here. So I'm going to go Silva, Evelina, Kristen.
I picked the same 3.
Okay.
Dang. That's tough.
It's between AB and Rick and the dark horse. Gotta love it.
My dark horse, I'm sticking with him. Maury Villman. Riding them back to back.
Probably going to. I didn't know you were allowed to take them back to back.
Are we not? I'll change it.
I have literally no clue.
Okay.
That is just a thing I said.
That's up to you. If you don't want me to keep it back to back,
listen to this. Go ahead and pull up a little guy by the name of Jaden Rye.
I know Jaden Rye.
Oh, you're going to know Jaden Rye because he's on a heater right now. You won't have to scroll too far.
He's right here, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at those last few finishes.
8th, 10th, 59th.
8th and 10th. That's what the ones that mattered.
I did see people said we need to consider him for our top 10.
Sneaky Jaden Rye.
We also need to consider Maury Villman for our top 10. We'll see what happens at Worlds when we up there our top 10, but we have snubbed Jaden Rye.
He just feels like that random
Maury
name.
Villman.
That like Jaden Rye is like at some point going to be in the lead of this tournament.
Very well could be. For your sake, I hope it's late and not like if he had the hot round in the B pool round one.
Let's do do we have the B pool yet?
Let's
do our B pool pick. That would be fun. Like, who's that guy that's going to be leading the tournament?
There's always someone that leads the B pool.
But B pool starts at the monster.
So
actually, the B pool is not going to be leading the tournament.
But maybe through 2.
Maybe, but that's pretty rare.
B pool, let's see.
Who's the best in the B pool? Just sort it by rating.
Well, if I sort by rating.
It isn't.
Down.
Oh, yeah.
That's all right, though. I don't have to scroll far. because they do it by rating. The best is Lucas Carmichael.
Oh,
Best of the B pool. I kind of like him.
Humphreys.
Luke Humphreys.
Jeeves.
Let's see who else.
Dirty Jeeves. That's about
Randon
it.
Lotta.
Oh, shout out Randon.
I
think it's like a world's tradition. I don't like. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But I like it when they play the easier course first because it's like a tradition to be like,
random person.
Is Tristan Tanner gonna win Worlds?
Yeah. But yeah, they started the monster. But I think Lucas Carmichael wins the B pool.
All right, I would probably agree with that he's the best player in the B pool. No, give me Luke Humphreys all day long.
Luke Humphreys for sure.
So how many hours out are we from the FPO teeing off? Like 8 hours?
Good question.
12 hours, I guess?
When this will probably post an hour from when we recorded or so. Let me see these tee times here. This is all Eastern. Oh no, it's 9:52 a.m. Let me go to PDGA Live. PDGA Live will tell me in Eastern. That tells me in their time.
I was going to say, that ain't right.
FPO,
we are looking at 11 hours?
2:30 a.m., 14 hours out. So in this post, we're probably 13 hours out.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, they tee off at 2:30. When does MPO tee off? Like, when does MPO main card going out? 8 a.m.
It's beautiful.
8 a.m. is when the main card starts. This coverage will start at 7:30 a.m. for us. There you go. Tune in to the Disc Golf Network to watch Worlds live, and then tune in to Grip Locked on Monday to watch us recap everything that went down out there. We'll talk to you then.